All right, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Hope everybody's having a good morning so far. It's going to be a very David E. Taylor update. And it's mostly because I've been having questions about how do I know that David is sick? Okay. One is sources. Okay. Two is because they put privacy. This is the cult tried to hit me on privacy about me talking about David being sick. Okay. That's confirmation. Three, there's a source in our group that's from Ireland that has done work in the immunology department. Okay, after talking to them, doing the research on my own, applying all the stuff to David. Okay, David is sick, and this is one of the conditions he's no doubt suffering from. Okay, and I did the research on myself, so they can't hit me on this. This is just applying everything to David, and this is called familial hypercholesterolemia. Okay, overview. Hypercholesterolemia affects the way the body processes cholesterol. As a result, people with hypercholesterolemia have a higher risk of heart disease and a greater risk of early heart attack. The genetic changes that familial hypercholesterolemia are inherited. The genetic changes that cause hypercholesterolemia are inherited. Okay, so it's an inherited trait. It's an inherited gene that causes this. Okay. The condition is present from birth, but symptoms may not appear until adulthood, okay? So it's saying people who inherit the condition, and this is from mayoclinic.org, okay? People who inherit the condition from both parents usually develop symptoms in childhood. If this rare and more severe variety is left untreated, death often occurs before age 20. Okay? Treatments for both types of familial hypercholesterolemia include a variety of medications and healthy lifestyle behaviors, which we know David does not lead a healthy lifestyle, everybody. I can guarantee that. Lobster, steak, shit like that. David is definitely on a high cholesterol diet. And if he's got that condition, he's just adding fuel to his fire, right? And you guys can sit back. Anybody who's had and I'm not here body shaming the guy. I really don't want anything bad to happen to him. I want the guy to be healthy and happy so he can fucking face the justice system. That's it. I don't want nothing bad to happen to you, David. I really don't. Symptoms. Okay, here's the symptoms of hypercholesterolemia. Okay. Adults and children who have hypercholesterolemia have very high levels of low density protein, lipoprotein, LDL cholesterol in their blood. Right, in their blood. LDL cholesterol, known as bad cholesterol, because it can build up in the walls of the arteries, making them hard and narrow. So that's what happens when you're on a high cholesterol diet. Like if you're eating out a lot, like David always talks about McDonald's, Burger King, fucking Krispy Kreme and all that. If David is really eating out that much and he is suffering from this condition, again, he's just fucking packing his arteries with cholesterol. And what that does, guys, figure a hose, right? You got a hose. Say you got a fucking big hose, right? When your cholesterol builds up inside, your arteries shrink down like that and they squeeze. They get smaller and smaller. Smaller, until they close up. Not good. It's not good. It's what causes like heart attacks and shit like that. It really does. Builds up in your heart and your arteries, blood in your veins. What it does is the cholesterol drops out of the blood. Basically, this is how our friend was explaining this to me. Is basically the cholesterol drops out of the blood and starts sticking to the inside of the veins and shit like that. Okay. This excess cholesterol is sometimes deposited in certain portions of the skin, some tendons, and around the iris of the eyes. Skin. The most common spots for cholesterol deposits occur is on the hands, elbows, and knees. They can also occur in the skin around the eyes. Okay. The one thing that our contact was pointing out to me was the big bags under his eyes, right? He's got dark circles and shit under his eyes. That's most likely from the drug use. But if you look closer, everybody, okay, you get these fucking fat bags under the eyes right here. No bullshit. And if you go to his, I put some of the, I'll post a picture up, okay? And I'll point it out, but you got to look real close and you get these fat deposits under the eyes, okay? I'm going to try and get our source on here so she can tell us exactly everything that she's noticed and what she said. She was very concerned about his overall health. She told me if I was a doctor and I walked in and saw David, I would be putting him on fucking blood thinners. He would be no doubt getting some sort of Lipitor, some sort of statin medication. She said I would be doing a full fucking blood panel on him right away. 100%. She's like, he would be I would admit him. That is exactly what she said. She was like, seeing his condition now online, I would 100% admit him right away. And I would do a full set of blood panels on him. And he probably wouldn't be leaving the hospital for a good bit of time. So you get the pooling of the fat under the eyes. Okay, that's just another place for the body to deposit the fat deposits. Okay. Tendons, cholesterol deposits may thicken the Achilles tendon along with some tendons in the hands. Eyes, high cholesterol levels can cause corneal arcus, a white or gray ring around the iris of the eye. This happens most commonly in older people, but it can occur in younger people who have hypercholesterolemia. What's it caused by? Hypercholesterolemia is caused by a gene alteration that's passed down from one or both parents, okay? People who have this condition are born with it. This change prevents the body from ridding itself of the type of cholesterol that can build up in the arteries and cause heart disease. So you got David, overweight, black male, 50 years old, not taking care of himself. He's definitely not a vegan, definitely on a high cholesterol diet. There's no doubt some drug use, okay? So again, if people want to know, this is why he's sick, okay? These are the factors of why he's sick. And he is sick, guys. This is coming from sources, professionals, and research, okay? So I've made sure that he is sick before I put this information out, okay? I had to. I wasn't going to put it out if I wasn't sure. I did all the research. Trust me. David's sick, guys, or else, again, he's missed the Russia and Ukraine bullshit, okay? He would have been out preaching for that. There's too many channels. David's a narcissist. He can't shut up for this long. There's no way. Risk factors. The risk factors of hypocholesterolemia is higher if one or both parents have the gene alteration that causes it. Most people who have the condition receive one affected gene, but in rare cases, a child can get the affected gene from both parents. Let's see here. This can cause a more severe form of the condition. And it's saying that it gives a population that it's more familiar, but I'm not going to read the population because I think that's just all bullshit. Saying, it's going to occur mostly in these people. No, I think it's just overall, if you don't take good care of your health, you're going to get hypercholesterolemia. And if you eat like shit like David does, you're going to get fucking high cholesterol regardless if you carry that gene or not. Because if you think about, our foods are so fucking, like, especially processed foods. I mean, come on. We won't even go into that, but we know David is on a high cholesterol diet, okay? And if he carries this gene, he's just pulling the trigger. That's it. Diagnosis. This is what it takes to diagnose this. A detailed family history is an important key to diagnosing hypocholesterolemia. Doctors will be interested to know if your siblings, parents, aunts, uncles, grandparents ever had a high cholesterol level or high heart disease, especially during childhood. During the physical exam, doctors usually check for cholesterol deposits that may occur in the skin around the hands, knees, elbows, and eyes. Tendons in the heel and hand may be thickened, and gray or white ring may develop around the iris of the eye. Cholesterol test. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute recommends that a person's first cholesterol screening should occur between the ages of 9 and 11, then be repeated every 5 years after that. Earlier, more frequent screenings may be suggested for families with a history of childhood heart disease. But see, David's this great healer, so he would be like, I don't need those tests, I'm fine, I'm a great healer, I don't need those, I'm an apostle, and, And here's the thing, guys, okay, if David's this great healer, right, check this out. Either he would have came out and say, hey, God has afflicted me and I've been struck with this horrible sickness, right? But he hasn't, right? It's a way David could have capitalized again, and he missed it, right? Russia missed that. They're still buying mansions up, They're saying he's still in shutaway. He's going to be in shutaway for another year. He's going to be out on the 22nd and 23rd. No, guys, he's not going to be out on the 22nd and 23rd. Guarantee it. I highly doubt David will be out. Taking bets on it. Let's take a peek here. This is just going more into cholesterol test. Talks about how they're measured in milligrams. In Canada, it's deciliter. European countries are measured in millimoles per liter. Let's see. Genetic testing, it says a genetic test can confirm familial hypercholesterolemia, but is not always necessary. However, genetic tests can help determine whether other family members also may be at risk, okay? And again, David, black male, 50, overweight, drug use, high cholesterol diet. You know, there's diabetes probably in there somewhere too. I mean, if you look at David, look how skinny he was in the beginning, guys. David is it's like, what somebody brought up, like, what if it's a possibility that David had a stroke? Again, I don't want anything bad to happen to the guy, but check this out, right? If God is who he is, right? Maybe he finally said, that's enough, David, and struck him down. After all the shit he's been talking to God, saying, oh, if God, if I'm lying, you know, God could strike me down. Well, maybe God fucking finally heard him and said, yeah, you know what? Tag, you're it, David. No more David. Again, I don't want anything bad to happen to the guy. This is, I talk about this off channel with members, and it very much possibly is. I mean, David's been talking all this shit about he's God's greatest Moses and the Moses of our time, saying, oh, God could strike me down if I'm lying. Well, maybe God finally did. Maybe God finally did, everybody. And you guys know I'm not religious. Again, I don't want anything bad to happen to him. But again, maybe God finally had it. Said, nope, you know what, David? You've had your paradise on earth. Treatment, familial hypercholesterolemia treatment focuses on reducing the extremely high levels of LDL, bad cholesterol. This helps lower the risk of a heart attack. And I can only imagine, like, David's heart is working overtime. We saw him on stage last year, guys. And again, if there's any health professionals out there, go back and look at David's videos, and you all let us know what you think, okay? Let us know what you think. He looks like shit, man. The profuse sweating, that's all. That's all like predisposition for like certain health conditions, like diabetes, high blood pressure, cholesterol, everything. Medications. So for high cholesterol, medication, statins, ezetimibe, it's Zetia. This drug limits the absorption of cholesterol contained in the food you eat. If statins can't reduce the cholesterol enough, doctors often suggest adding this drug, okay? PCSK9 inhibitor. These newer drugs, Praluent, Repatha, help the liver absorb more LDL cholesterol, which lowers the amount of cholesterol circulating in the blood. They are injected under the skin every few weeks and are very expensive. Okay. Other treatments, David. These are other treatments for your high cholesterol. In severe cases, people with familial hypercholesterolemia may also need to periodically undergo a procedure that filters the excess cholesterol from their blood. Some may need liver transplants. That would be like extreme cases, really. I would think liver transplant, definitely. That would be like, you know, lifestyle and home remedies. Lose extra pounds, losing weight can help lower cholesterol. Eat a heart-healthy diet. Focus on plant-based foods, including fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, limited saturated fats and trans fat. David, lobster? Lobster isn't a low cholesterol diet, buddy, okay? Steak and lobster isn't low cholesterol, bud. Burger King, McDonald's, all that stuff you're eating out, that stuff, gotta go. Exercise regularly. With your doctors, okay, work up to at least 30 minutes of moderate intensity exercise 5 times a week. If you smoke, find a way to quit. I don't think David smokes, though. Okay. So that was, again, guys, this is just research done, sources, reporting, the reason, if people wonder how I get this information, why we come with this information, Shot Caller Big Baller, I think that's your screen name. This is specifically for you, bud. It's through sources, man. It's through a lot of sources, okay? And a lot of these sources I don't mention here because if I were to put the sources out here, man, what do you think that would do to the cause? It wouldn't be safe for the sources, right? The sources wouldn't do favors anymore. They wouldn't call me with information, right? So if you're wondering where I get this information, dude, it's through a lot of research, sources, people that have witnessed, experienced everything, okay? Again, I don't put those sources out here for a reason. If somebody else was doing this, they would be getting the calls I get with the information. That's the best way to put it. That's how I find the information out, guys, is through sources, cross-referencing the sources, making sure the sources aren't bogus. It takes a lot. I don't just put the information out. I can't. Because if something was false, it's like then, you know. But again, this is coming from medical professionals, witnesses, sources, eyewitnesses, everything, guys. I don't put the information out until I cross-reference the sources and make sure it's legit information. Some of it is theory, yes. But for the most part, David is sick, guys, okay? Why do you think we don't see him? Ask yourself that one question. Why haven't we seen David?